Hi everyone, welcome back to Stamp with Anna. And today I have the third and final card from our last card class, which focused on autumn and Thanksgiving cards. This one, I absolutely love the way it came out. There are a lot of steps, and as I'm going through, when I'm showing you all the products we're using, it might seem a little daunting, but rest assured, it really does go together. I know I say it all the time. It does go together pretty quickly. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is the beautiful card. I absolutely love it. It is my favorite from the class we just had. And for product, we have Mossy Meadow card base, cut at A2 size, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of Very Vanilla, which is 4 by 5 1/4. I have a piece of Mossy Meadow, which is 3 by 4 1/4, and another piece of Very Vanilla, which is 2 3/4 by 4. Don't worry about the measurements; they'll all be on my blog. Now, this card, there are some steps you do need to do in a certain order, so I'm going to do that with you. The first thing I'm going to do is take my Very Vanilla that is 4 by 5 1/4, and I am going to emboss that. And I'm going to emboss it using the Pinewood Planks Dynamic Textured Impressions folder. This is a 3D folder, so excuse me. The way you would make your sandwich is your platform, your folder with your paper inside it, and an acrylic plate on top, and run that through. And I would suggest that you run it through with this folded edge going in first to prevent damage to your embossing folder. So I'm going to do that. I'm not going to do it online because I have to drag my machine up and everything. So I'm going to go run this through the Big Shot, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with my beautifully embossed Very Vanilla, and I hope that all of that detail shows up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out that grain. So with my soft suede stamps ink, I'm going to ink up my sponge, my quartered sponge, and I'm just going to run it over this card. Kind of light, not too heavy. I just want to bring out the grain of the wood. I mean, it does look pretty all in itself without bringing out the wood, but when you bring it out, oh God, that just looks so much prettier. All right, so there's that. Now I'm going to attach this to the top of my card. I'm just going to use some snail. All right, now this is where we must do this in order. Normally you would think to go put this piece of green down. We're not going to do that. We need to do all of our stamping first. So my stamp set that I'm using is the Painted Harvest. This is not new this holiday season, but it's a great stamp. We're going to use the 2 pieces that make the sunflower, the piece that makes the inside of the sunflower, and this that a lot of people put inside the center of the flower, but I'm going to use that as an accent piece. And I'm going to use this I Am Thankful for You on the inside of my card. So now we have to do our stamping. And the first thing we're going to do is bring in my Pierce mat and a piece of paper. And the first thing we're going to stamp is the front of our card. And we're going to put this word Thanksgiving down first, because if we do everything else, we might find that we didn't leave ourselves enough room for Thanksgiving. Everything else here is negotiable in space-wise. This is not. So I'm going to take the word Thanksgiving, which comes from this 2-piece stamp set, which is called A Wish for Everything. And it has all of these single words: wishing you a anniversary, birthday, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, sending you Easter, New Year's, just a ton of words. And that, when combined with the coordinated word wishes dies, you can make tons of phrases. So you could do, where is happy? Happy St. Patrick's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Thanksgiving. Just tons and tons and tons of ways that you can mix and match. And you could do all of them die cut, or you could do some of them die cut and some of them stamped. It's just a great way to utilize the stamp set. And it also has a package that has more stamps, and you do have this wishes by itself, but you also have great things to put on the inside of the card. So giving thanks for you with a very grateful heart. That's a good one to use for Thanksgiving. And I think, you know what, now that I'm saying that, I think I'm going to change this up. I used this one originally that says, I am thankful for you, and that came from the Harvest, the Painted Harvest stamp set. But now that I'm seeing this, I think I'm going to make this card with this. Giving thanks for you with a very grateful heart. Okay, great. I just changed my design. All right. So that happens sometimes. So now I'm going to get back to this card. I'm going to ink up that Thanksgiving with my Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to drop that right down here in the bottom right. Straight down, straight up. There it is, Thanksgiving. Now I want to do my flowers. The flowers are a 3-step stamp if you count the inside. It's actually 4 if you put the little specks in the center. But I'm going to use just 2. So the first one that we're going to use is this bottom base. And this is more flat. We're going to do this in crushed curry because this one's going down first. So you place the lighter color on the bottom when you're going to do something like this. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up in my crushed curry, and I'm just going to scatter my flowers here and there. I want some half flowers. I want some full flowers, and another one, I think, right there. Okay, and that again was in crushed curry. Then we're going to come in with the stamp that has more detail. And this one we're going to do in pumpkin pie, and that's because it's the darker of the 2 colors, and we want to put the darker on the top. And when we go line this up, we're not going to try really, well, you're going to try to get it in the general vicinity, but there's no way you're going to get that center totally centered with this, because it just doesn't work that way, and you don't want it that way. This is an abstract flower, and it just looks so much prettier when you just don't pay too much attention to where you're lining things up. I do need to stand up though. All right, so I am going to try to get that to line up a little bit with this hole here, if I can see it with my camera in the way. I'm going to go for it. Okay, didn't come out too great because I really can't see with my camera here. Okay, that one came out better. I'm going to move this off to the side. Maybe that'll help me. Okay, and now this one right here. Okay, so now you can see each one of those has its very distinct look to it, and that's fine with me because, like I said, it's an abstract flower and I like it like that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is stamp the center, and for that I'm going to use a different shade of yellow, and I'm going to use Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to use this image, which is the center of the flower. And again, I'm going to tap, tap, tap. And I'm not going to stress over fitting this in perfectly. I'm just going to drop it in. Okay, and especially for this one that didn't line up perfectly the first time. And I think that adds to the character of my flower. Okay, and there we go. Flowers complete. Now the last thing we have to do on the front of our card is with the soft suede and this little image that has all those little dots that normally would go in the center of the flower, I'm going to use those as accents. Okay, so I'm just going to scatter them around. And when you're doing something like this, especially with a stamp that is so tiny, and you tend to get ink on the block, you do want to periodically make sure that your block is semi-clean so that you don't end up with blobs on your project. And I find just a stamp and a tap in the stamp pad and a tap on your card is sufficient. You don't need to go overboard inking it up. Okay, and I'm going to just add one more there. Okay, there we go. And the front of our card is complete. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in this piece of Mossy Meadow. And this was cut at 3 by 4 1/4. And what I've done on the back of it, I have put a piece of double-sided tape. Stampin' Up! Used to sell these in sheets. This one isn't from Stampin' Up! Though. This one is, I think, from Elizabeth Craft. It comes on a big, oh, here it is right here. It comes on a big tube like this. Oh, actually, it isn't Elizabeth Crafts. It's Sparkle and Sprinkle. And it's a huge tube like this. And I bought this for a project that, after I came back from convention, I bought all the pieces to it. And I can't remember how it works. But anyway, so I put a little piece of that on the back. When this gets peeled off, that has adhesive on it. And that's how we're going to stick this word happy. So we're going to turn this over. And from that die set, we're going to take the word happy and we're going to lay it right here. And we just need to make sure that it's in this tape. So that's why I put a big enough piece there. Let me just grab my die cutting machine. I have my Big Shot upstairs from where class was, so I'm going to use my Big Kick. This one is a little older, so its parts are a little looser. That happens to all of us, right, as we get older. So I'm going to put down my magnetic platform, put down one acrylic plate, and again, I'm going to have the adhesive side on the back with the happy on the front. And it doesn't matter where this goes because this is just going to be a matte piece on our card anyway. So we're going to crank that through. I'm going to crank it back. Now I want to make sure I got a really good cut, and that seems to have cut perfectly, but I'm not taking any chances. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees and I'm going to run that through one more time, just to make sure. Okay. And now it's all cut nicely. I'm going to take this off. Okay. Now your adhesive sheet may or may not follow you back here. This one happened to come off perfectly. So I'm going to just put this aside. I'm going to bring my card back in. And I'm going to attach that to the center. So I'm just going to use some snail. I could take this off actually and use that for adhesive as well. Let me just see. There we go. We'll have a really secure card by doing that. It's there, why not use it, right? And I'm just using my pierce tool for that. And okay, and here's the front of my card. I'm going to just drop this right in the center. Now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to mount that on top of that green piece. And there it is with a little bit of a border. Okay. Now I'm going to come back to this piece here. And I'm going to pop it out of my die. And you know, this these work great. I absolutely love this tape and the whole theory behind being able to put adhesive on your project as you die cut it. But I find it's kind of a crapshoot. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, as far as where the adhesive is going to, where your backing is going to come off. This one is working perfectly, and I thank it very much. So I'm going to just peel that backing off, and I'll pop this one little piece off. And here's my Thanksgiving, and I'm just going to put happy right there. I'm just going to drop it right down, because if you play with it, you'll get it all wonky. It won't be straight. So there's happy. Now I have somewhere on my desk here, I have a piece of rope that goes over here. I'll come back and look for that and put it on. But for the time being, we're going to do the inside of our card. And I don't believe I told you about the inside of the card. This is a piece of Very Vanilla, and it is 3 3/4 by 5. And we're going to stamp this much like we did the front. I have all my stamp pads all closed up. I didn't want anything to dry out. And like I said, I'm going to change my greeting. I was originally going to do this greeting that came from the Painted Harvest, which says, "I am thankful for you." But since I'm using this, A Wish for Everything, I'm going to use that Thanksgiving one. And let me just find it in here. Here it is, right here. Okay, I'm going to take this off and see if it'll fit on this block. This is what happens sometimes. You have your card all set in your mind, and then you decide to go a completely different way. Works better when it doesn't happen when I'm taping live, but anyway. So here's my Pierce mat with my Very Vanilla and Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to drop this on the inside and make sure I have this going the right direction. Okay. And right here in the center, straight down, straight up. Giving thanks for you with a very grateful heart. Geez, I'm glad I noticed that today. And now I'm just going to do 2 flowers on the side, just like I did with the other one. Crushed curry with my background stamp, my lighter color, one in the top left corner and one in the bottom right. And then I'm going to follow that up with the top layer of pumpkin pie. And again, well, this camera really does get in my way. Down there and up there. Okay, great. And now my centerpiece with Daffodil Delight. One right here and one right there. And now we're just going to attach that to the inside of our card. Here is the original one that I was making. And we're just going to drop that in the center. Okay, I'm going to turn my camera off for 1 second so I can see what I did with that little bow. Hold on 1 sec. Okay, I found my knot. And I'm going to just attach a glue dot on that rope. This is jute that Stampin' Up! Used to sell this, but they didn't anymore. I still use it because I like it for a rustic card. I think it's just a great look. And there's our card. There are our 2 cards. And you can see my flowers look a little different because, like I said, they're abstract. And no 2 sunflowers are the same. And no 2 sunflowers have perfectly aligned petals. They're just full and vibrant and gorgeous. So this is my original one. And this is my one that I just made here. And we just have 2 different greetings on the inside. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed this project. Leave me a comment below and let me know which sentiment you like better. Giving thanks for you with a very grateful heart, or I am thankful for you. If you have any questions at all about this project or any of the products that I've used, please contact me through my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator with whom you currently work, and you would like to receive a copy of the current holiday catalog, which is live through January 2nd, 2020, please contact me and I'll pop one in the mail to you right away. And I hope that you will subscribe to my YouTube channel if you've enjoyed this video, or when you pop over to my blog, there is a button there to subscribe, so you can subscribe to my blog posts. And there's also contact me, and you can let me know you'd like to receive my weekly newsletter, which I do try to get it out every Tuesday. Sometimes life gets in the way and I don't get it out on time, but I do try to get it out on Tuesday, and I do recap all of the projects that I've posted that week I've posted that week up on YouTube, as well as happenings with Stampin' Up! Products, sales that are coming on, new products, new promotions, and things like that. So I hope you've enjoyed this project, and have a great day. I'll see you back here soon.